Dinosaurs may be done with us, but we aren't done with them. I'm not finished with you! Braun Strowman, what are you doing here? Just because you move about as well as any of the dinosaurs in this movie does not mean you need to be here. Braun! Jurassic World Rebirth is the latest installment in the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World franchise. If you didn't know that, please, I beg of you, please, never fucking breed. Just don't fucking do it. Just don't. Just go do something else with your life after you watch the rest of this review. In all seriousness, Jurassic World Rebirth is a standalone sequel, apparently, after the previous trilogy, apparently, I guess, wrapped everything up. Except not. Because more people are doing things like going to collect dino DNA for nefarious or good purposes. Because, 6 movies in and 32 fucking years of time proves that society, humankind, whatever label you want to put, they never fucking goddamn learn. This was the Regal Mystery movie, and I was able to see it about a week and a half before it came out. And thank fuck I was able to see it early, because I get to rant and rave and absolutely destroy this abomination of a blockbuster blunder. Yeah, I fucking hated this. And I'll tell you why I fucking hated this. If you've seen the trailer, if you're into the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World lore, maybe you'll enjoy this. Maybe you won't. Here's the thing. The first one is fucking phenomenal. Honestly, one of Spielberg's best. And Spielberg has done, I think 90% of his movies have been great to legendary. There are a few that are bad, because nobody's going to bat 1,000. Spielberg had nothing to do with this except executive producing. He probably should have told director Gareth Edwards, hey, maybe you need to try this. Like, try something new. Not try the same damn bullshit where... If you've seen one Jurassic Park sequel or Jurassic World sequel, you've seen them all. Because the first one stands alone as honestly just one of the best blockbusters ever. I can watch the first Jurassic Park and absolutely enjoy the fuck out of it. The Lost World had its moments. Spielberg didn't want to do a sequel, but they threw a shit pot full of money at him, so he's like, why not? It wasn't his best, but it was what it was. Jurassic World 3 really kind of ended things on a downer, but the movies made tons of money. Well, the third one made good money, didn't make great money, but then, of course, we got Jurassic World, we got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and we got Jurassic World Dominion. Where things started with Jurassic World, it really wasn't all that great, and then somehow got worse. It somehow got worse after Fallen Kingdom. Dominion might be one of the worst endings to any trilogy ever. Any trilogy. And that's saying a lot. So Gareth Edwards, in case that name doesn't ring a bell, maybe this will. Monsters, a movie that was all right. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but it was all right. Godzilla 2014. Again, it was all right. They would go on to do better Godzilla movies, and then Godzilla -1 would basically stamp down this goddamn thing. But he also did Rogue One, which was terrific. Honestly, my second favorite Star Wars movie ever. I may actually retro-review some of the Star Wars movies at some point, and maybe it'll end up being number 1. Picture-perfect prequel, exactly what you wanted it to be. He's been involved in other projects. He also did The Creator. That was that one that looked cool and was one of the blandest sci-fi stories I've seen in years. And I pretty much fucking hated The Creator. You can go back and check out my review of it. It's hard to believe that movie came out almost 2 years ago. David Coop wrote this. Jurassic Park is one of the other movies that he wrote. Also The Lost World. Stir of Echoes. It's another I need to retro-review at some point. Mission Impossible. Kimmy. That had Zoe Kravitz in it. It was also in Seattle. For some reason, we get the dank movies in Seattle. Not the dank memes, as the kids say. I don't think the kids say that. The Indiana Jones movies, as well as Presence, which was not very good or interesting. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Black Bag was pretty good. And he also did War of the Worlds 2005. So yeah, this motherfucker's been busy. Busy with projects that have been well received and others where I hope he got paid a lot. Scarlett Johansson plays Zora. Not Zorro. There is not Zorro hunting dinosaurs, which would have been infinitely better than whatever the fuck we got here. She is a mercenary, special ops, whatever, that has a bit of a past and gets a team together to take Martin, played by Rupert Friend, who was in Companion and also Canary Black. He's actually been in a lot of stuff. He's much better than this material. As well as Dr. Henry Loomis, who's played by Jonathan Burley, who was recently Fliero in Wicked, or Flyero, whatever the hell you said that. I liked Wicked enough. Honestly, there was a Wicked for Good trailer just before this. I gotta be honest, I actually thought it was going to be F1 because of the runtime, but no, it turned out actually they fooled us and they gave us Jurassic World Rebirth. So, we'd also have Mahershala Ali. I can never get his name right. He is a terrific fucking actor, though. He's really good. He plays Duncan, not Sheik Kincaid. He is not barely breathing. I can't name one other Duncan Sheik Shong. Easy for me to say. 6 Saudis were Saj. I'm Dan Rather. Manuel Garcia Rolfo plays Ruben, who has a family out just in this area in the sea that I will talk about here in due course. So basically, yeah, the idea is the spoiler-free premise is Martin wants to create a pharmaceutical drug that can stop coronary disease and help and maybe knock it, back by 2 decades. Basically give people 2 extra decades of life so we can just keep working and everything on this rock that's spinning into the middle of nowhere. But we're into the goddamn abyss and a black hole slam. Martin has endless amounts of money because he works for InGen. InGen's like Weyland-Yutani, by the way, except Weyland-Yutani wasn't quite as idiotic. There is an opening sequence I will talk about in the spoiler section because it's kind of like, I guess it would kind of be a minor spoiler. But Martin wants to do this. Henry Loomis, who studied under Dr. Grant, that is a bit of a spoiler, but kind of not really. They don't have any of the legacy characters in this because I guess they couldn't chip off enough money because they felt they did everything they needed to. So the idea is Henry Loomis is really, really good at doing studying up on dinosaurs. And he's going to go to this area around the equator. And Duncan, Mr. Ali, M. Ali, Fabulous He, Ali Ababwa, is going to help lead this expedition. He's got crew with him. There is a beautiful, beautiful woman in this named Neve Finlay. It's Niamh, but I actually Googled it, and because she's from Dublin, it's like how you see Saoirse Ronan's name, you wouldn't think that's how it's spelled. They have interesting pronunciations there. I have to say, good Lord, she was good. Good Lord. More of her. I liked her. There is, the rest of the family is Luna Blasey, however you say it. She plays the older daughter. There's a boyfriend played by David Iacano, who is kind of a lazy weed smoker. And then there's a kid, Adriana Miranda, who, I find kids in movies like this annoying. I will say the kid did her best, but there's so many unnecessary components in this movie as far as character involvement, as far as taking parts of Lost World, but also the rescue mission aspect of Jurassic Park 3, Human Centipede them together, but also trying to update things, even though it's supposed to be a standalone sequel, it kind of ties back into some of the stuff that was referenced in Jurassic World as far as how that park got going. The thing is, though, at $180 million, the dinosaurs don't look all that great. There is this one big dinosaur that they show a little bit later on that kind of looks like a mixture of a xenomorph and the 1998 Godzilla movie. So thank you very much, Gareth Edwards, for reminding me of the worst U.S. Godzilla movie that has ever existed. So yeah, basically we just get... It's another Jurassic Park World movie. People do stupid shit. People get eaten. People have to fight back. We get John Williams' score being hackneyed and butchered in this. And it is a soulless blockbuster that has absolutely no merit except to make money. And the thing is, it probably will end up making quite a bit of money. And it better make quite a bit of money because Superman comes out a week after, or 8 days after. And Fantastic Four First Steps comes out just a few weeks after that. So, this is a fucking gamble here. Now, the movie will probably end up doing pretty well in all things considered. This actually wasn't the biggest theater that the complex in town has that holds around 330, 340 seats, and I'd say it was about half full. And for a Monday night, that's not too bad. We didn't know what the movie was. But the thing is watching this, like the action, like you have the Mosasaurus, or whatever the hell it is, the big shark fuck. You have mutated pterodactyls and all these mutated dinosaurs. It's just an excuse to show off different designs and everything. None of it has any meaning. There's no meat to this. None of the characters have any sizable arc. Any of the stuff that's referenced in their past doesn't really doesn't really like develop into a long-term story arc. Any attempts at emotional depth don't work. Martin is the worst fucking villain so far in this franchise. I say so far because I have a feeling if this movie is successful, they are going to end up doing another one. They're going to end up doing an 8th one. Almost says 7th. It's hard to believe that I was 12 when the first came out. Now I'm 44 and this came out. And society still hasn't fucking learned. It is in theaters on July 2nd if you want to check it out. So, spoilers. Let's just go right there with that. How quick is that? How quick is that transition? So, here's why I'm basically doing the spoilers now. And why I haven't really recounted a ton of the plot. And I know that this is probably going to be seen as just a scathing rant, and it is. Because movies like this simply exist to make money, which is fine. The whole point of movies is to make money, but also be entertaining. Even if it's mindless entertainment, the key word there is entertainment. So it's set 5 years after Dominion, and this new expedition basically ends up going south. We end up in opening where at this lab, it's 17 years earlier, it's at the lab where they're doing all these genetic experiments. I think it's called the D-Rex, I think is what it's called. Not the Indominus Rex. Maybe it is the Indominus Rex. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Who fucking cares? Actually, no, that was something else in the movie. In the previous movies. But there's this guy that's eating the Snickers, and the Snicker wrapper gets stuck in this door, this lab door thing, that basically fries it and does all this bullshit. It is absolutely just mind-numbingly stupid. Yeah, lab issues, grab a Snickers. And in fact, maybe, give a goddamn Snickers to a dinosaur so it looks like a fucking dinosaur, not a bastardization of computer graphics. These are very ugly computer graphics. Like, the dinosaurs don't really feel alive or anything, and none of the action scenes really feel lavish. But we have this thing where basically this D-Rex ends up killing this guy. And it's pretty obvious that the lab went totally tits up because we see, later on that the lab isn't doing all that well. And that was referenced in Jurassic World where they're like, oh yeah, we had all this genetic stuff, but don't worry, everything's fine. We just ignore the island behind the curtain. So we then see Scarlett Johansson appear in the back seat of a guy's car. We could only be so lucky. Turns out to be Martin. Martin offers a shit pot full of money. They get Henry. Henry eats Altoids, and I liked the peppermint Altoids. I didn't really necessarily care for the flavor there. I think that was the wintergreen or the spearmint, because I do recall having those before, and I think it was the bluish tinge. So I think that was the wintergreen. Nevertheless, I don't know why they did some Altoid comedy later on in a field where it seemed like something was sneaking up on him, but it was just him chewing Altoids. And maybe the humor amused some of the people in the crowd, because apparently everybody is just a mindless slug. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to act hoity-toity. I'm not. I enjoy mindless entertainment, but I want to actually feel like it's earned and not stupid, like whatever the fuck this was. They don't take too much time to convince Henry, and the idea is they get this expedition. They go to Duncan, not she, Kincaid, and basically they end up getting this thing together, and they're going to go off on their expedition. So the idea is they have to get dinosaur DNA from 3 particular dinosaurs. They'd shoot these darts. It collects the DNA, sucks it right off of them. Sucking a dinosaur off would definitely be difficult, so I've heard. And then the dart shoots off from the canister shoots off, and then basically lands in conveniently pops a parachute and lands down. Okay, simple enough. Oh wait, what do we have to do? We just have to shoot the goddamn whale one, and then we have to go get a T-Rex like thing, and then we have to go get a pterodactyl like thing. Simple enough. Before any of that, though, we cut to the family where there's Reuben, Xavier, and I'm not even knocking the guy David, but this family is one of the most unnecessary collections of characters that I have seen in years. You want to talk about something? If this family was taken out, would it have mattered? I'm genuinely asking. Like, there's one minor little plot point with Martin that, I hate to say it, Martin was already enough of a dick anyway that you really didn't need to do this, but just such unnecessary characters. Like, they didn't know what they wanted it to be. So this family basically is just along in the ocean. By the way, they're near this area where some dinosaurs are, and their boat gets tipped over. And there's this thing where there's this emergency radio. Xavier's got to get that. And I think Luna's character is named Elisa. I don't know. They didn't really say the names clearly. Not that I necessarily give a shit, all due respect to the actress. But her boat gets tipped over. The kid is all upset, naturally, because the kid's stupid. And then there's the Mosasaurus or Mosasaurus or whatever the hell it is, that big old shark fuck. And you would have thought it would have eaten Xavier. No, we can't get that lucky. They got the radio, and they radio the crew, and the crew goes there. Now Martin's like, what the fuck are we doing? We got to go get this stuff. Oh, the Mosasaurus is over there. The shark fuck. Let's go get it. No, let's go rescue the family. Because it turns out that Zora actually lost her one of her partners in a car explosion. I'm going to be very, very careful with the wording that I have here. And she's upset about that. She couldn't even go to her mom's funeral because her mom had like some kind of heart issue, and that's actually where this DNA is going to help. It's going to stop the coronary disease and all that. And then it turns out that Duncan and his significant other, girlfriend, wife, possibly younger sister for all I know, and I'm talking about the character, they had a son, lost a son, they both couldn't get over the grief. Gee, I wonder if anything about losing his son and suddenly they have a family with a kid here that is going to factor into the finish of this. Spoiler, it does. So they rescue the family. They decide to still go on their hunting expedition, even though they could have just taken the family back and we would have had less annoying characters. No, we need a higher body count, except nobody in the family dies. More in the pity. But they end up getting the shark fuck, DNA and stuff like that, which is kind of funny. But unfortunately, then they run afoul of some Spinosauruses or whatever that help them hunt. And they end up crashing the boat into the shore. That big old shark fuck cannot enter the shallow water because it's pretty goddamn big. And now they got to figure out what the hell to do. Oh yes, and during all this, before they crash the boat, Luna's character is trying to call Mayday. Martin's trying to stop this because, by the way, humans aren't supposed to be there. And he ends up basically not helping her when she falls down off the damn thing. And it turns out that, that's going to factor into something, even though we knew Martin was a fucking freak and a creep. The family gets separated from the crew. The family, by the way, does a much better job surviving than the crew, which is kind of funny to me. From there, we basically just get, little Easter egg stuff and references to the previous movies. So, that family being rescued kind of quickly. Martin's a terrible villain. There's a little... Ducky. No, not Ducky. Whoever the Triceratops was that was in Land Before Time. I'm drawing a blank. It's been years. The Triceratops that was in that, they basically just recreate that here as an attempt at an adorable little marketing thing where Isabella, or Bella rather, gets attached to this little dinosaur that she nicknames Dolores. Are there any Doloreses still in the world? I mean, genuine question. So there's one point where Xavier, after on the boat, he would not take over his duties to watch, and then everything, crashed down. He decides, hey, I'll take over duties. you relax, because the dad also injured his leg, because that doesn't factor into really anything. He just walks around a little cane, but then he decides to go take a piss. He's taking a piss, and suddenly, a pterodactyl attacks a couple raptors and scares them off, and then he finishes pissing, because that's apparently funny. Oh yes, and Neve Finley's character gets taken away on the beach a bit before that. So, the idea now is they need to find this weird brontosaurus-like thing. I believe it's called a Titosaurus. I'm just going to call it that because it's funny. They're like brontosauruses, but with weird, lengthy tails that are about like 2 million feet long. So I don't know how the fuck they fit on Earth. But they get dino DNA from them. And Henry Loomis is all emotional because he's seen these dinosaurs in the flesh for the first time. And the idea here is that once they get these 3 DNA samples and they have them on ice and they get away from the island and get back to civilization, Martin will make sure they're paid. I personally would have asked for half the money up front, but that's just me. And then, and I'm skipping over some of this stuff because none of it really matters. Like, they're just endless wandering around for a while. There's attempts of bonding with Henry and Zora. Just funny, because we've seen Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey at the pressers, and people are like, oh, is she cheating? I believe Jonathan Bailey's gay. I'm pretty certain he is. But that being said, it's just so funny, how little happens in this movie. It's kind of like a mixture of Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. Actually, it's like an extended Jurassic Park 3 as far as the rescue mission thing. The thing is, that movie was 90 minutes. So maybe it was a little bit too short. This is 2 hours and like 14 minutes with end credits. So, while the crew is doing what they can, they even go on these cliffs at one point and do this pterodactyl stuff, where they try to draw stuff from the DNA, or one of the eggs of this pterodactyl with whatever the fuck they call it. I don't care. They piss it off. One of the crew members ends up dying. Because he gets eaten as this pterodactyl fuck climbs up and eats him while they're trying to pull him back up. And Martin, by the way, once again, terrible villain. Loomis's rope snaps, but he manages to get the sample just before it falls because, ooh, convenience. And around this time, he had suggested, hey, why don't we... Actually, I think he might have said this on the boat. Why don't we make sure that the world gets this instead of having InGen get it, where they are going to basically price 99% of the world's population out and just take care of the 1%. None of this stuff actually ends up registering. And then we get some, I guess, attempts at drama with a raft. So basically, Luna's character, Alyssa, I believe, is the only one that's ambulatory. She crawls through this goddamn river and gets to this one outpost. The boat's damaged, but there's a life raft. And then she's dragging that, but, oh, there's a sleeping T-Rex right over there. Because why not? So she pulls the raft out, and the raft stands up conveniently right here. And then when it disappears, the T-Rex is suddenly gone. And she gets the raft in the river. Family's going to get there because she's about to paddle over. T-Rex is taking a drink, then suddenly looks over and says, lunch. You guys shouldn't be over there, but you're my lunch now. In the meantime, also, Dolores, the little Land Before Time dinosaur, has been sent away. I know that's not Ducky, because Ducky was the, I don't remember what kind of thing Ducky was. It's been years since I've watched the only good Land Before Time. They've done like 25 of them. So, that being said, we have the raft. The T-Rex starts chasing after them, starts swimming and everything, and is scaring them and throws them off the raft. Except the little girl who's getting he's trying to bite through the raft, but apparently that raft is made of ultra titanium because it doesn't break at all. And they end up almost going down this river. It's really, really scary, except it's not. And they end up being reunited with the crew here, and now they're reunited when they get to the lab, It still has a generator running power. Now the thing is, it runs it at night. It's on a timer. It doesn't run it during the day. Oh yeah, and there's a bunch of dinosaurs around because of course there fucking is. And also, the only thing I forgot to mention was Scarlett Johansson said, "Hey, this is going to be a rescue. We're going to have a rescue coming. This helicopter is going to circle around for a bit, and if they around 2 minutes or so, we got to alert them. As long as they see us, they'll land and they'll get us." The helicopter doesn't get a chance to land, by the way, because something else lands it on the ground. So we see, brief shots of these various genetic dinosaurs that didn't work. We saw the D-Rex. That's where the door was, that, with the Snickers wrapper. And Duncan is basically trying his best to, figure out a way out. There's a boat and these underground tunnels and everything, so they're going to get out through that. Some of these pterodactyl creatures can, ship down through the goddamn sewers like they're the fucking Ninja Turtles. And there's also this gas station that just happens to be there. It just happens to have a whole bunch of items that are probably still pretty good. Actually, I don't know. Some of those chips probably aren't that good. Remarkably well-kept store, though, for the fact that it's been 17 years since people have been on that island. And also, through this, Stand By Me was playing. Because I guess we just need to shit on the legacy of, classic singers. I guess we just need to classic song. It's fine. At this, I was done before this. I was really done by this point. And Dolores, the dinosaur, just shows back up. Despite the fact that she sat away to safety. It's there. It just found them. Because we need that to happen. Am I thinking too much into this? Probably. And then, so it looks like the copter's going to leave. Henry Loomis manages to shoot a flare. And the copter's coming back. Except he sees the D-Rex and he's trying to wave it. No, don't do that. And then the D-Rex, dinosaur, xenomorph, Godzilla creature has attacked the copter and basically breaks it apart and stuff like that. And that was kind of funny. Martin, by the way, had handcuffed himself to the goddamn briefcase with the samples. He'd gotten a gun earlier from like a helicopter that was hanging down, like a pilot had the gun. But he's a terrible shot. Also, it's like a 16 shooter because Scarlett Johansson's able to cap like one of these pterodactyl mutants in the goddamn sewer or tunnels. But then the idea is they're going to get to the boat. Well, then Duncan had said as they were going, "Don't worry, kid, I'm not going to let anything happen to you." Gee, I can't imagine why he would say that. Maybe he feels guilt for his son dying. If any of these characters meant anything, that might matter. But then Martin ends up getting killed, hilariously. His arm is still attached to the goddamn briefcase, but they get the briefcase. So they don't got to worry about him, just the weird Xenomorph Rex. So they get through the tunnels, they get to the boat. It's hard to start, and Duncan says, I'm not going to let anything happen. Let me get some flares, and hey, Dino, follow me. I'm going to get in the water, and you follow me. Over here, plot convenience. They get the boat going, they go away, and oh my god, Duncan's dead, and, Zora's screaming, and then they see another flare, and Duncan's still alive, because why not? And then, that's it. Oh, and Dolores is with Isabella, so I guess that dinosaur going back there, and it's fine, and they have the dino DNA to create this drug that's gonna, I guess, be fine, because other people know how to make it? If I thought too much into this, I'm sorry, but this is just such an abomination of a bland, basic bitch blockbuster. Terrible. Terrible. It's still going to be a while before I truly figure out my, really start laying the groundwork. It's probably going to be till like October, November before I really figure out the worst of the worst of the worst of the year. Jurassic World Rebirth may end up being on there. I've seen so many dumb things. I still got to think if this is as bad as some other stuff I've seen. But it gets an F. It's terrible. I have talked long enough about Jurassic World Rebirth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.